Hey, what's going on, guys? It's John back with another video, and in today's video we're going to go over all of the basic seventh chords that you should know. And some of them you might know, some of them you might not know, but either way we're going to go through all of them. So let's jump right into it. Okay, so when we're talking about seventh chords, we're literally talking about taking a basic triad and adding on the seventh scale degree. So if we're in the key of C, we have our notes C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Okay, and then when we put our numbers to it, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, back to 1. Okay, and if we take our basic triad, major triad, 1, 3, 5, to make it a major 7, all we have to do is add the seventh scale degree. Okay, and so now we have what we call a C major 7, right? And the formula for that is 1, 3, 5, 7. Okay, that's our first seventh chord. Okay, now what about the minor version? So the minor version of a C major 7 chord would be a C minor 7, and that formula is going to be 1, flat 3, 5, flat 7. Okay, so now we have two seventh chords that we can basically make different chords from. Okay, so if we're on our C major 7 chord, what would happen if I kept my major 7 up here, but I decided to go minor down here, right? This becomes a C minor major 7. Okay, I like to call this chord the James Bond chord, right? This is a chord that you hear a lot at the end of spy movies. It's like that little sting chord that they use at the end, right? That's what that chord is. It's a minor major 7. Okay, and because it's such an odd and distinct chord, the next time you're watching The Incredibles or you're watching 007 and you hear this, you'll know right off the bat that it's a minor major 7 chord. This is the beginning of how you guys can actually learn to hear these types of chords by ear, right? When you're able to pick out this sound and you're able to say, oh, I know what that chord is, it's very easy for you to come back to your piano and recreate it because we know the formulas for these things. And the formula for a minor major 7 is going to be 1, flat 3, 5, 7. Okay, now what if we were playing a major 7 chord and we decided to keep it major over here, but flat the 7 down here? We get a dominant 7 chord. And for the longest time, I hated this sound. I could not stand the sound of dominant 7 chords. They just sounded corny to me. But as my musical vocabulary grew, I understood the importance of that chord and how it could be used, okay? So don't sleep on the dominant 7 chord. Just learn it. And I guarantee you, in future videos, I'm going to show you guys how you can use this chord properly. Okay, so we've got major 7, we've got minor 7, we have minor major 7, and we have a dominant 7 chord. But what are some other chords that we could use? Well, if we start on a minor 7 and we lower the 5th, we get what's called a minor 7 with a flat 5, okay? And it's exactly how it's spelled out. This is the way that you're going to do this. So it's going to be 1, flat 3, flat 5, which is diminished, right? And then a flat 7. C minor 7 with a flat 5, okay? Now, don't ask me the theory on this because it still doesn't make sense to me. I don't know who came up with this rule, but if you take this flat 7 and you lower it again, you get what's called a full diminished chord, okay? And essentially, all it is a diminished chord with the 6, the added 6. So when you see this written out, you'll see this written as a double flat 7. This A will be a double flat 7. So the formula for a fully diminished chord would be 1, flat 3, flat 5, double flat 7. That's probably the first time you've heard that. Double flatted 7 literally means we're taking the 7th note and flatting it twice. Okay? And that's how you get that chord. Now, that's essentially all of the base major 7, minor 7, diminished 7 chords that you could get. Oh, there's also, you could do a major 7, augmented major 7, right? Because you're taking a augmented chord and you're playing the 7th over here. You can also do a dominant 7 chord with an augmented an augmented chord with a dominant 7, which would be flat 7. So let me go through those formulas real quick. So a regular C major 7 or augmented 7 would be 1, 3, sharp 5, 7. And if you wanted to make it dominant, you could do 1, 3, sharp 5, flat 7. Right? There are different ways that you can think about a lot of these chords, but sometimes thinking about them in their most basic sense will help you get the grasp of it. A jazz musician will probably use some different alterations to name that chord, but for all intents and purposes, you can essentially name a chord whatever you want as long as it makes sense to you, right? And as long as it stays in line with theoretically how things should be named, okay? Now, with those seventh chords, you can also add on some of the other chords that we've already learned. So let's say, for instance, we have a C major 7 chord, right? I can add a sus4 to this and make it a C sus4 major 7, right? You hear that sound? Right? You can do the same thing with a sus2 major 7. I really like that sound. Okay. Some of those modal chords that we were talking about, like the C Lydian chord, you can do a C Lydian with a major 7, right? And the formulas are all literally exactly what they are. So if I'm playing a C sus4 major 7, I'm going to play a 1, 4, 5, 7. C sus2 major 7, 1, 2, 5, 7. If I wanted to play a C Lydian major 7, 1, sharp 4, remember sharp 4 is Lydian, 5, 7. Okay? If I wanted to do a C Phrygian with a major 7, so C Phrygian with a major 7, but C Phrygian is probably going to sound better with a flat 7. Right? So 1, flat 2, 5, flat 7. Okay? And again, even though I'm moving fast through all of these chords, what I really want you guys to begin to understand is that once you have a foundation or a base chord, then all you're doing is making small little alterations here and there. And I need to get this on a t-shirt, but all we are doing is applying what we know. Apply what you know. I'll say it one more time. Apply what you already know. We are not learning anything crazy. It's not rocket science. We're not doing anything that is outside of what you are capable of, okay? All you need to do is just take it slow, apply the things that you already know. The problem that a lot of people run into is that they rush through everything too fast. Just like if you rush through the building of a house. I work in construction. And so if you don't have a solid foundation, everything that you do after that is bound to fall over. You need to have a solid foundation for what it is that you're trying to do. And once you build on top of that strong foundation, you put the walls up, you put the structure up, you put the drywall up, and then you put the nice pictures on the wall, and nothing is going to fall over. Okay. But if you have a sloppy foundation over a sinkhole, it doesn't matter how nice the house looks on the inside or the outside. It's only a matter of time before it comes crashing down, okay? And so you cannot slack on your fundamentals. You absolutely need to know the names of the notes of the keyboard or any instrument that you're doing. You absolutely need to know your major scales, okay? I'm not even saying to learn your minor scales, because in future videos, I'm going to show you guys that your major scale is your mother scale. You get every single other scale from your major scales. Just like how we can get 6 different chords from just knowing our major chord and just altering the third, the same thing happens with your major scale. You take those same numbers at 1 through 7, and when you alter those numbers, you come up with different scales. You won't be able to do this if you do not have a lock on all of your major scales, all 12 of them. That's all you need. All 12 of the major scales, and you will have the world opened up to you as far as modes, as far as auxiliary scales, as far as any other scales that you want to learn, okay? You need to understand these things. You need to understand the number system. You need to understand when we're talking about the number system in terms of scales. You need to understand the number system when we're talking in terms of chord progression, because those are two different things. You know, when I'm talking about playing a 1-3-5 in a chord sense, I'm talking about the actual formula for the chord. But if I'm talking about a chord progression, I'm talking about playing a 1-3-5. Okay, completely different things. Those are things that you guys need to know. I don't know why I went on that rant about learning your fundamentals, but I really feel like it's important for you guys to understand that, because every single thing that I will post on this channel is going to just begin to click for you. It's going to begin to get much more easier for you when you understand those foundations. Even if you think it's boring, go back, lock in, get it done. That's going to be everything that I have for you in this video. Be sure to stay tuned for the next one. If you have any questions, comments, concerns about this particular video, let me know down in the comment section below. If it was helpful for you, remember to like, share, subscribe, share with your friends. And you guys stay in the shed, be blessed, take it easy, and get to work.